Kip, first of all, if I can just ask you, what were your impressions of Mindspeak?
It was mind blowing. I mean, I haven't had to speak to so many young people in the morning like this. I mean,
Yes.
and you know, just the fact that I had to speak so much about myself. I always have to talk about things that I'm doing.
Yes.
But today, I think was a bit of a challenge because I had to actually make it also my own reflection. But it was so amazing, engaging. It was very, very, very. I couldn't spend my hours better on a Saturday
No,
morning.
thank you. And I think what it gives me so much hope for us, for our country, when I see so many people engaged and hungry to succeed and trying to make a living. Kip, you said many things, and I suppose, and I would like to start on the personal side first of all. How is, you seem like as if I should call you Karma Kip or something, because you seem to have this incredible karma about you that, whatever's happening, you're still going forward, you're still moving forward. The way you turned debt collection into a business. I mean, what is this? What is the magic secret to the way you operate? Is it a state of mind, would you say, or?
Okay, one thing that I probably didn't talk about in my presentation is I would say success in life is a combination of two things:
Yes.
working hard,
Yeah.
and also being lucky.
Yes.
The two there has to be an interface.
Yes.
There must be an intersection between those two.
Do you think the harder you work, the more lucky you get?
You see that when you work very hard, then you create the opportunity for luck as well.
Yes.
But then luck in itself, I mean, just raw luck,
Yeah.
also plays a part. I mean, you cannot underestimate it. I mean, the guys, I know you went to school with Ali Khan, some
Yes.
people who were extremely bright, but somehow,
Yeah.
for no clear reason, they haven't been able to gain any traction in life. I think I've had a very positive attitude, and I think I've been very fortunate that I've used a lot of the challenges that I've faced, turned them into opportunities, and I've had very good business partners.
Yes.
We've been
And
very.
what is your model? I mean, you were talking about this holding company. Is your model to collaborate? Are you a collaborator? What would you say is?
100%.
Yes.
In fact, the only business that I own, our only family company is Zero Group. Every other business we own with people. And I think I work very well with people. We
Yes.
collaborate very well. I think trustworthiness is a very important ingredient in one's life. And I think I'm just back to the basics.
Linus once told me, Ali Khan, this new generation is completely different. That they will resign by text, he described to me once. You were saying in one of your businesses, the average age is 23.
Yes.
How have you connected to this youth dynamic, and are they different? Are they the same? What are they looking for, and how have you managed to fulfill them?
Okay, first and foremost, you know that these guys have far more information
Yes.
at a very early age than we ever could have imagined. So we're dealing with a totally different thing. I mean, it's a totally different dynamic. I mean, the creativity in some of these young people, Ali Khan, is just mind-blowing. And in MTech, for example, a lot of people who work for us also work on flexi hours.
Yes.
They log into their computers at home and they'll put their hours in every day as part of their contractual obligation. The creative energy, what IT has brought to these people, and the sort of knowledge that they have at an early age, it makes it possible. But I think the compromise that we have to make is that the old rules, 8 to 5,
Yes.
the formal dressing, the old regimen
Yes.
of living has changed significantly.
And you've adjusted your company to take it.
We've had to. I mean, there's no other way out.
And when you look at your businesses, they span so many different areas: media, telecoms, farming, agriculture. Is there a common thread in all these businesses that you got into, or would you say it was just the opportunity was there?
It's an opportunistic thread. I don't think there's any other commonality.
Yes.
I think I've just risen. I mean, I've taken the opportunity as it has come,
Yes.
as it presents itself. And I've done the things that I enjoy to do. Some of them have a long gestation period before they become profitable, like farming, but I do it because I believe in it. There's a consumer out there. There's also, the reason I do farming, for example, is, you are in touch with nature.
Yeah.
And you see the things that you do. I mean, it's so amazing. It's like having a child. When you plant a plantation of coffee trees, and one day it's a seedling in a nursery, and the next day it's a fully grown crop that's giving you so many kilos.
Have you started
fascinating.
harvesting your coffee?
I have indeed. Yeah, we are now second crop, and we are also doing our tea, harvesting it now.
Yes.
The
Does
milk.
tea take as long as coffee?
Longer.
Longer.
Yes, it's 5 years.
And your macadamia is 10 years.
10 years. That one we're not
So
going to.
you've not been scared to make investments
No.
which are quite long term?
No.
Like the chamber, you know, there was a description by somebody in the audience saying what a... And actually I went by mistake to that old building once. And I know what they're talking about because it's right at the back end.
Yeah. We're actually trying to sell it now. The parliament wants to buy it. And,
Okay.
so we'll probably sell it, and the trustees are handling that. You know, we have to separate ourselves and have a trusteeship
Yes.
that deals with the chamber's assets. So they will dispose of that, and we'll find something more.
Because that was one of the challenges, wasn't it? Governance,
Yes.
assets.
We've had to do a lot of work around governance.
Yes.
Yeah.
And do you feel that the work you've done could be replicated in other places in the country, that other companies could do it, you know, given that so many companies have faced these challenges, Kit?
We are actually right now, I think if I have another 3 or 4 months of my first term.
Yes.
And we are focusing a lot on the counties. I think we went with you to the North Rift. We are working very, very hard to replicate what we've done in Nairobi
Yes.
across all
And
the
I
counties.
commend you for that because, you know, it's also, there's a glory level, isn't there? You're Pan-African, you're going with the president, you're going to China, you got 10 presidents on speed dial. But at the same time, you're trying to drill down, are you?
We are very focused on the counties.
Yes.
And we think that, you know, our role lies in where the rubber meets the road,
Yes.
in the very lowest level of business. The thing that differentiates us is that we're not elitist at all.
Yes.
We're not exclusive at all. We are a club for all private enterprise. And we have companies ranging from Safaricom to a fishmonger who pays us 200 shillings a year for membership.
Is that right?
Yes.
So anyone can join you, basically.
Anyone.
Yes.
Yes, it should be as large a movement as possible that delivers value. And the two values that we want to deliver really is advocacy and networking.
Yes.
If we can create that platform for advocacy, where we advocate for the
So
business community.
what are you advocating for now?
I mean, like one of the things we've been very active about is tariffs at the county level.
Yes.
We've been telling the county governments that, you know, you need to engage us as required by the Constitution as a public participation organ.
Yes.
Because before you pass the finance bills, we don't want county governments just waking up tomorrow morning and saying your levies are up 40%.
And we've seen
There
a
has
lot
to
of
be
that, have
that
we?
conversation between us and them.
Yes.
We are also advocating for corruption, the fight against corruption. We want the county governments to legislate that anybody doing county business, you know, procurement business, must be a member of a chamber. Then that way the chamber movement can create the rules of engagement.
Yes.
So that there will be, you know, it's not anything goes type of situation. We are advocating for people to be more export oriented. We are really trying to, you know, take our businesses
Is there
to
a
the
lot
region.
of export elasticity? Are there a lot of exports that you think we can suddenly... Because I always worry about, everyone talks about this imbalance between our imports and our exports. Lower currency is not having... We're not seeing more exports, or you think there is something untapped that the chamber can unlock?
There is something untapped that the chamber can unlock.
Yes.
And the truth of the matter, I mean, our balance of trade deficit has gone from 900 billion to 1.1 trillion in one financial year.
Yes.
And that is the financial year where the lowest oil prices have prevailed.
Where the swing was about 100 billion.
Exactly. So you see, when the oil price is correct,
Yes.
what is that deficit going to read?
It's not going to be...
And it's not going to be good. And if we look at our traditional markets, like Uganda, for example, Uganda, the balance of trade was in our favor 12 to 1,
Yes.
on a ratio of 12 to 1. That has closed to 4 to 1.
Yes, still in our favor.
No, it's 4 to 1 in our favor,
Yes.
but then we've lost 8 points
Yes.
in terms of relativity. So we got to certainly get out there and export our things, and we've got to stop exporting commoditized products. If we could add value to those products, the tea, the coffees, we must find a way to really engage the market without necessarily exporting raw commodities, and especially when labor cost is so low, energy cost is going down.
Yes. So taking something like tea, more than $1 billion, what do you think can be done with value addition? Could that be a $2.5 billion export business? Or?
Certainly.
Yeah.
I mean, there certainly is room for growth. Of course, a lot of these major commodities are controlled by certain key multinationals globally.
Yes.
And I think it's time for our country to really engage these entities to, you know, create more market parity for Kenya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you know, one of the big roles of a chamber is what would be called economic diplomacy, right? You've been at the forefront, a champion of that.
Yes.
In your mind, what is a premier economic diplomat like yourself doing? What do you see as that role?
I see that role as being one of opening up markets, of being one of creating the platform for the engagement between businesses and businesses across nations, also internally within the nation itself, creating that platform for networking and engagement, for creating the policy environment, for breathing life into the bilateral agreements that exist between nations, for ensuring that the economic blocks that exist within the country through the county blocks are engaging in trade between themselves, that the special status agreements, that the treaties that are signed under the World Trade Organization platforms and all other multilateral and bilateral agreements are, they exist both in deed and in letter and in fact. And obviously that role is an onerous task because it involves a lot of travel, it involves a lot of engagement, it involves understanding of complex matters of international trade, and more importantly than anything else, it involves engaging both with business and with governments across the board.
And you did all this pro bono, basically?
Pro bono. I don't earn anything for what I do.
And was that because you were so passionate about it? Or?
Yes, I am. The president actually offered to put in some 100 million bob into the economic diplomacy endeavor.
Yes.
This hasn't happened. We hope it will happen. It'll make it easier because in that way we can also ensure that the benefit of economic diplomacy also goes to the SMEs, because a lot of the trips that we engage in are beyond the reach of some companies that actually would be able to gain traction, like the handicraft exporters, like the soapstone exporters.
Yes.
I mean, we need these people also getting an opportunity to
Are you creating a platform for that?
If the government puts in the fund that they promised, then we would intend that this fund targets the SMEs. Yeah.
You made some very strong points about where we are as a country. You were worried about 2017 being a replay of 2007. Against that, we have this sort of narrative of Africa rising. We have Kenya being in one of the top 10 growing economies. Yeah. Maybe not, because the second half has been a bit slow. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? What do you feel about where we are right now?
You see, let's first of all contextualize it in terms of global trade. Africa only contributes 4% of global trade. If we look at it in absolute terms, I mean, Kenya is still a very small economy vis-a-vis the major economies of the world. When we went to Brookings with President Kenyatta, the introduction was that the economy of Kenya is the size of the economy of Lansing in Michigan. Wow. I'd never heard of Lansing in Michigan. Yes. And we were also told that the economy of Orange County, California is equivalent to Sub-Saharan Africa's economy. So in relative terms, Africa is not big, but it's exciting. Yes. Because it's got the youngest population. So from a consumer perspective, it's it's the next frontier. Yes. We have now got major discoveries of hydrocarbons, oil and gas in many, many countries. I don't think there's ever been an era with as much infrastructural investment across the continent as is happening now. I mean, we're seeing railways, we're seeing ports, we're seeing tarmac roads, we've seen the whole infrastructure is opening up. I mean, look at a country like Congo, Ali Khan. Yes. I mean, it is unthinkable that there aren't any roads that connect Goma to Kinshasa in this day and age. And that's the richest country resource-wise on the planet. Yeah. So that it is a time for Africa, I have no doubt about. Yes. Now, what concerns me in Kenya is that we seem to have there's a very deep schism in the political arena. I mean, the opposition and the government are reading from completely different scripts. Yes. And I think as we move towards 2017, we really need to find very, very strong institutionalized framework to ensure that what happened in 2007 doesn't happen again. And we need really the ethnic tensions to go down. We need the political rhetoric to calm down. We need more to look more into the future in terms of the gains what the gains that are envisaged by our new constitution. But is that happening? I think there's a lot of challenges being presented by this new constitution, even in governance, in the multiple layers of government. And I think I'm justifiably worried about 2017, and I think it's going to be a really watershed moment for this country. And I believe that if we are able to pass our test, then certainly the future, I mean, we'll be looking back at the dust and saying that's where we came from.
I hope so.
Yeah.
If you look around the continent, you meet all these African leaders, which leader stands out for you besides our own?
Without a doubt, President Kagame.
Yes.
He's disciplined, his work ethic, his laser focus on issues. It's very refreshing dealing with him because he's very, very meticulous about everything he does. I mean, even when I took the delegation to Rwanda, and I think you were part of it, yes. I mean, by the time we got back to Nairobi, all the conversation we'd had with him and the follow-up, there was a letter that clearly stipulated and put everything in a time frame.
Yes.
So I like the serious work ethic that happens, and I think also, you know, the fact that Rwanda has been very disciplined, even in the environment, the sustainability of the environment. Of course, civil liberties, people argue that civil liberties are compromised, but I think probably that's what we need to be doing.
And you were also speaking about President Magufuli, you were saying.
Magufuli is in a few days seems to have created a lot of energy around reform.
Yes.
And that's probably sometimes you need to crack a whip for people to get moving. Yeah.
Now, if you look at your businesses, at what you're doing, what is the next step for Kiprono Enterprises?
I think we are in a good place. Most of the one thing that has been very, very good for me is that our businesses are in maturity.
Yes.
So it allows me the luxury of being able to serve our country. And I think I need to go through an era of a bit of consolidation. I have a few big projects in the pipeline. I'd like to do a big residential cum hospitality development in Naivasha.
Oh wow!
And you know, I have a few plans in the near future. But I think basically the business has been very stable, and I thank God for that, and the people who work for us.
Kip, thank you so much for a really inspirational mind speak. I mean, I'm still thinking about what you said. And I think, you know, your strength in adversity was really something that caught my attention. And, you know, you kept saying opportunities are in, what did you say?
In the problems.
In the problems.
Yeah.
And I've never seen someone able to turn their problems into opportunities the way you have. It's been a real pleasure.
I must say, I really do appreciate the fact that you've given me this platform.
No.
I couldn't have spent a morning better than I have today.
It has been a joy having you here, and I'm glad to count you as a friend. So really, very grateful.
Asante sana.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.